What in the ding dong doodle is going on, fellas? Well, lady fellas, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, I finally have an Evil Eye deck profile. For the longest time, after what is this? This is Infinity Chasers. Yeah, after Infinity Chaser came out, Sergio was like super expensive for like a while. He was like over $20 for the longest time. He's not nearly as expensive now. He is still like I think over $10 easily. But I finally bit the bullet on that because we did get new support and it was very quick. I think a lot of people were very quick to find out that Evil Eyes were not amazing after Infinity Chaser. So, come Chaos Impact, just released this past Friday, we get new support, 2 new cards for their type of Link to, and a new equip spell. The equip spell helps with consistency, it helps with versatility, it helps with just utility and grabbing anything you need, and it's really nice. And so I want to make a list because I do think the deck is better. Do I think it's amazing? No, but I think it's still like a nice rogue option. Like, definitely would not be surprised if we see this deck like hitting on the regional circuit a little bit, seeing it top a couple times, because I do think it is a pretty nice like stun control deck, whatever you want to call it. There. So without further ado, let's just jump into their deck profile. So we're going to start with our main monster, our main man, the most important monster in the entire deck. 3 Sergio, Watcher of the Evil Eye. He's awesome. He's your everything. He's your Stratos. When he's normal summon, he searches an Evil Eye card. While he has Slain equipped to him, he can once per turn, target, as a quick effect, target and destroy 1 special summoned monster your opponent controls, but on your next standby phase, he's going to force you to destroy 1 card you control. So just keep track of that. But other than that, he's phenomenal. Yeah, he's the most important monster in your deck, by far. Then for the other monsters, I'm playing 1 Medusa and 1 Basilius. So one thing I love about the deck now is that Basilius is playable. Before I wasn't even like messing around with Basilius because he just felt like a big old brick. A big old brick. It was awful. He just like, he didn't do much. There was nothing really worth dumping. I guess you could dump Celine, but you got to put another Evil Eye in grave, and like easier said than done in a lot of situations. They didn't have the Link to get stuff in grave easier and all that stuff. So he's much better now with the new equip spell. We'll get up there a little later. If you don't know what he does, actually, if you control an Evil Eye monster, he can just special summon himself straight from the hand, and then once per main phase, you can dump any Evil Eye spell or trap card from deck to grave. Really good with the new equip. And then Medusa, she's kind of like Sergio, but as a follow-up. So when she's normal summon, she'll get an Evil Eye card back from grave. And while she's equipped with Celine, she can quick effect to banish a monster in your opponent's graveyard, but force you to banish something from your graveyard on the next turn. If you can set up both of these, it's actually pretty good, like just because Orchist and Sally's, and not as good against Thunder Dragon, but like, you know, mainly Orchist and Sally's, and I guess Striker, you can hit the Ray and stuff. Actually has some good utility as a interruption against a lot of, you know, the tier 1 decks out there. And then for the monster hand traps, just 3 Ash, nothing crazy here, not gonna blow you away with that, but this is a slower deck, and going second is definitely a weakness, so we got to play something just so we don't just like get blown out like that. For the spells, we'll start off with 3 Evil Eye Domain, Pareidolia, and the 1 Terraforming. This is Rhoda. I mean, you activate it, you search any Evil Eye monster, and then also has another effect, so it has 2 other effects. The battle effect like never comes up. In fact, like I don't remember ever using it, so, but it says once per turn during damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster is attacked while Celine is in your spell and trap zone, you can make the battle damage you take from this battle also inflicted to your opponent. That like never comes up. Your monsters get so big so fast, people never try out them by battle. Plus, while Celine's on the field, they can't be destroyed by battle. So like a lot of people are decentivized to ever attack. But they do have, this card does have another effect where if it's destroyed by a card effect, you can add a Evil Eye monster from your graveyard back to your hand. So you can pop this with Sergio's effect because he makes you pop your own card, and then just get to add like a Basilius that you linked away like back to your hand, which is pretty nice, setting you up for follow-up plays. Then for the equip spells, 3 Evil Eye of Celine. So a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people not play 3 of this. You have to play at least 2. You can't get away with 1. But the reason I'm on 3 of this is it just like raises the ceilings of your hands, because like, well, there's a couple things. So it's like ceilings and also consistency, because like if you go Sergio and Sergio gets Ashed, Veilered, and Permanenced, it actually feels so good to already have Celine in your hand, because you just equip it to him and your opponent's like, they still got to the equip spell, tough. They're still going to have that disruption. He's going to be annoying to out, that kind of thing. But the other reason is when you have Celine and to like already equip to Sergio, you don't need to worry about searching Selene. Like most of the time, you like have to get to Selene one way or the other. But if you already have it in hand, you can search something else. So I like that it just like makes the ceiling for your hands a little higher. It also makes the consistency of like playing through hand traps a little higher as well. And then I play one copy of Gorgonio. I've actually been playing with the idea of playing two of this. There's a couple cards you can mess around with dropping like one copy of. But right now I'm on one. So if you don't know what this card does, while it's on the field, it counts as Selene, making some of your cards effects live in the archetype, because a lot of them need Selene to be on the field to gain like additional effects and just become better. And then while your life points are lower than your opponent's, the monster this card's equipped to gains the difference. So you can, like this plus Selene will get like your monsters, like one monster like huge, like possibly like OTK, like with one attack type huge. Because like maybe you've paid 3,000 life points. So this is buffing 3,000, and if you've paid 3,000 life points with Selene, it means your monster is already being buffed by around 3,000. And like it's going to be like closing in on 8,000 levels, so it gets like really, really crazy. But the main effect of this card, those are like the bonus effects. The main thing with this card is while it's in graveyard, you can reveal any Evil Eye card in your hand, send it to the graveyard, discard to the graveyard, banish this card, and then you can search one Evil Eye card from one Evil Eye spell or trap directly from your deck to your hand. So essentially, it's like it just trades in. It trades in any Evil Eye card in hand for an Evil Eye spell or trap. Which, if you need a monster, you can just grab Pareidolia and then use Pareidolia to get a monster. So essentially, it searches anything, which is really, really awesome. It makes some plays like so nice and easy and good. And like if you open multiple Selene, which we're playing 3 of, like you just discard a Selene and search like an actual like other Evil Eye card that's like way better. Or same thing with like Pareidolia or extra normal summons. Like you don't need those; they're just dead in the hand. So just trade them in for something that's like way better. Card comes up all the time, and I'm even thinking about playing 2 of them because it actually is good in the grind game too. Because if you ever draw an Evil Eye card for like top decking, you just trade in for another Evil Eye card that's actually going to be more useful to you. So really strong. Next up, I'm playing 2 copies of Evil Eye Awakening. This card is pretty nice as well. It wasn't as usable before because like the deck didn't want to spam. You weren't going into your Link 3, but now that we have the Link 2 and it's good, this card becomes way better. It's great. So this card normally will special summon an Evil Eye monster from hand or graveyard, but if you control Selene in your face-up spell and trap zone, you can special summon an Evil Eye monster straight from the deck. So sometimes you can just pull Basilius straight from the deck, and then Basilius and Gorgonio, and then Gorgonio search whatever else you need, and then just like you just keep rolling from there. So this card's a little bit turbo. I could easily see myself dropping a copy of this card, but it is nice. Like it makes for like 2-card combos, 3-card combos. It's really nice because like this plus Surzeal gets you into your Basilius play. Just go Surzeal, get Selene, equip Selene, then you can special Basilius straight from deck. Basilius send Gorgonio, Gorgonio get an extra search, and you're just kind of steamrolling from there. So it's nice. It's a nice card. I would definitely play at least one before when you do want the ability to spam into your Link 2 or even your Link 3, but no more than 2, I think. Not unless we get even more support that makes you want to spam the field even more. And the last Evil Eye spell I play is Confrontation. This card's MST. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you can target and destroy one spell or trap card your opponent controls, but becomes Cosmic Cyclone, so it can banish the card instead if you also control Selene on the field. So it's just a searchable like spell or trap removal, so it just comes up. It's just a one of, you can side it out, it's an easy side out in a lot of matchups, but it's just there as a free searchable like MST, which is really nice, and a lot of decks don't have access to that. Alright, and then to finish out these spells, we've got 3 Extravagance, 2 Duality, and 3 Called by the Grave. Just a lot of standard stuff here. Extravagance is so good in the deck. You have like 1 extra deck monster that like actually matters. Duality, and I know you're seeing this like, oh John, but like isn't the deck more spammy than it was before? And yeah, it is, but the main thing is you need to get to Surzeal no matter what. And I know sometimes you're going to see this with Surzeal in the hand already, and you're going to be like, oof, like I can already do like a Basilius play, but like I have Duality. Am I just going to hold Duality? Sometimes you just have to accept it, or sometimes you just go like, I'm not going to search Basilius. Instead, I can search an extra, counter trap or something like that, extra disruption. And you just go down a different line of play. It's still just super good consistency-wise, and it can be an easy side out. And I just like it still because getting to Surzeal is the most important thing, period. So I really wanted to make sure like that could happen as much as possible. And then 3 Called by the Grave. Again, like Surgical Resolving's like so important, and the reason we're playing 3 Selene is to be more resilient there. And then again, Called by the Grave, like Ashes, Veilers, letting us play through those as well. And then just against a lot of meta, like the 3 supposed best decks in the game. Well, even if you consider Striker there, 4, you're hitting like Thunder Dragons, Orcus, Sallies, and Sky Strikers, like all with that card is like very, very good, hitting their graveyards. All right, and then we'll finish with the traps. So 3 impermanents. I don't have my 3rd impermanents yet. I've been trying to get it for a couple weeks now, but it's still 40, 45 bucks. So I don't know. I've just been biting the bullet still. I'll have it soon, but you don't have to play this necessarily. You can play Veiler. You can play other stuff. But this is just, I'm trying to show you the most competitive version I can come up with at least. Then 2 Heavy Storm Duster and 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device. These are just like utility spots in the deck. This is like super good against a lot of matchups. Even decks that aren't like per se back row decks. Like Sallies are setting cards and putting their field spell on the field. Like Orcus set cards and put stuff on the field. Like a lot of matchups just put cards like spells and traps on the field, and this card just really helps deal with them. Good utility. And then Compulse, it's just so good. Like right now, like this deck can struggle with like Thunder Dragons because sometimes they can get to Colossus through Monster Negate and definitely through a special summon Monster Pop. So sometimes I wanted this just to be like a 1 card out to like Colossus because that protection effect can be brutal in this deck because it doesn't have insane amounts of removal that's not destruction. So I thought it was nice utility. And the card that makes those both a little bit better is 2 Trap Trick. I didn't want to go all in on this card because I didn't want to commit too many traps to the deck. But instead of playing like 3 Compulse and 3 Heavy Storm Duster, we have this card that can be either depending on the scenario and depending on which one would be better given the situation. So I like this. You can search impermanents, and that's another reason. Like if you don't play impermanents, you play Veiler, like because it's expensive and you're a budget player. Not a big deal. I would probably not play this, and I would probably just play 3 and 3 of these because they're both just so good. You can even play like Crackdown if you're a big fan of that card, but I know like it can be countered by stuff like a Cosmic that's like already running around right now, so these are a little less susceptible to that. But yeah, 2 Trap Trick, big fan of the card. For the Evil Eye traps, 1 Defeat and 1 Retribution. This is it. They're better in certain situations. They're better and worse in certain situations. They're kind of like the Salamangreat traps that they're pretty searchable. So you don't really need to play more than 1, and they're not good if you're not searching them a lot of the time. Like if you open enough stuff, like they're good to draw, but mainly you don't want to draw them. You want to like search for them. But yeah, this just negates any spell or trap, and this is a Compulse as long as you control an Evil Eye monster, but it can bounce 2 monsters if you control Selene as well. So this one high ceiling, and this one just negating stuff. It's just pretty good. I'm a fan of both of them, but you just don't really want to open them if you don't open like the other Evil Eye stuff you need to see as well. And then the last 2 cards in the deck, 2 Solemn Strikes. I like Strike over Judgment in this deck, at least in the main. I might like side Judgment or something, but I like Strike in the main better because you don't pay as many life points, and if you don't know, Selene runs down your life points so fast. It can be a real threat to yourself if you're not paying attention. So only paying 1,500 is pretty good. And game 1, a lot of people aren't going to have the committed like back row removal, evenly matched and stuff. You're not going to run into that a lot game 1, so you have these for game 1, and if you play Judgment, play it in the side for when you're going first games 2 and 3 to shut down the evenly matched, to counter the Twin Twisters, the Cosmic Cyclones, hitting the important stuff you have. So yeah, 2 strike, just nothing crazy. I just wanted something else good that going first you just said. It can be decent going second, and yeah. So that's it for the main deck. Playing 40. I love playing 40 cards. I don't know why, but it just, you know, OCD type stuff. For the extra deck, 3 of the New Girl. I only have 1 right now. I ordered the other ones, but I definitely play 3 because like with Extravagance, you really want 1 copy of this like live at all times. 1 Phoenix and 1 Akashic. Akashic is actually kind of spicy because you can make with any 2 monsters with the same type except tokens. So you can just make like a basic like Surzeal, Search, Basilius, Special Basilius, go Akashic. So in like certain situations, like if you're playing against Sallies, you can bounce like a Heat Leo or a Sunlight Wolf. Against certain decks that maybe make like the BLS link, it points straight up, so you can just summon it under that, bounce that as a clean out to something that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. And then just like some random other stuff, if they put stuff in the wrong columns, you can just summon this and punish them. Only comes up in niche situations, but it is nice. Phoenix, only because like if you can make it under her or Akashic, it's going to just be, you're going to get that redraw, and then just removing like certain cards, certain spell or traps that are annoying. It doesn't come up very often. 2 copies of Zerziel and 1 Ningirsu for the link 3s. Again, like he doesn't come up very often, but you will go into him every so often when like he is the difference between like ending Zerziel in the link 2 and it's like not quite enough, and he's like big enough and powerful enough. Sometimes he is the answer, but he usually isn't. He doesn't come up very often. And then Ningirsu is just there, kind of like Akashic for very specific situations. If you are able to spam the board enough to get 3 monsters out, you can like reset Selene to your field and then pop the Selene, or send the Selene to send your opponent's monster. It just outs random stuff. You know, Avermax, the BLS link, the Endymion big magician guy, just random stuff. He don't come up that often, but he could. You know, he could easily come up for sure. And then I just play the rest Super Poly target. So I wouldn't play. I mean, you could easily play Super Poly in the main, but I'm not. And if you do, I totally respect that. I totally get that. Super Poly is so insane right now. I'd probably side it though. Just I don't know. But it's really good. So Starting Venom, obviously 3 copies of that's going to come up the most, so you really don't want to banish that. This card just for a super high ceiling, Super Poly, if your opponent happens to put 3 darks on the field. And plus, this is a better disruption than this guy. He has a legit, like, negate a special summon. So sometimes I almost want to, like, Super Poly away my Basilius with 2 darks my opponent controls, like in Orcus, just to summon this guy, because I'm going to be able to straight up negate a special summon next turn, which is actually so strong. Dragostapelia comes up against certain Thunder Dragon boards, and also can come up against pendulums. And then 1 Chimera and 1 Duplexer. Duplexer is there like for random like stuff like Marine Cess. I know Marine Cess seen a little bit of play, and I just think a decent amount of players are testing it out really right now. Nothing crazy. This will come up the most because you're going to see Sally's more than that. But you know, I don't want to lose because like I can't side Super Poly against like Marine Cess, and then I end up getting waxed by that deck because of how much recursion it has. So that's pretty much it for the whole deck there, guys. I don't know, the deck's really cool, and I like that the deck's a little more mid-range now. It's not just 20 traps, you know, your 5 monsters and like 15 cards that are consistency and draw spells. Like, I like that it actually can make like special summon a little bit. You get to a link 2, which is pretty cool, and it can make a little more plays. It can link spam a little bit, not really a lot, no more than like 3 monsters possibly in a turn, but still, like, that's not bad. So I like the deck. I think it's really cool. I love the artwork for it too. I love the way it plays. It still has its flaws. 100% back removal is brutal against this deck. Really does stop a lot of things from being possible, but still, I still think it's a decent deck. And on the right day, played by the right player, maybe the meta shifts at some point, this deck could be a legitimate like threat to certain decks, and also support, because clearly it has a following. A lot of players are fans of this deck. So we'll see where the deck goes in the future, but this is what I've got right now. I'm no magician. I'm no wizard. I'm not the know-all, be-all, end-all of this deck. So if you do know something about the deck and you want to throw some advice down below, definitely let me know what you think. If you think a lot of my list is pretty on point, if you think there's some things I should adjust here and there, definitely let me know. I'm always taking advice. I'm always here to listen and then have a conversation in the comments about what the deck should or can do differently, and yeah, I just want to hear your thoughts. So thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet for more deck profiles. I got some really cool deck profiles coming up, hopefully in the next week or so, and then hopefully a Kai's a little bit more down the road if their prices drop enough, because I do still love that deck, but 4 secret rares, so that'll do that. There, guys, that's pretty much it for me here. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.